Now I just got that.
Oh boy, we're in for a fun night.
Oh, look at that.
Yay!
That's the best it's been.
It's because it's a new file straight
Wow.
uploaded from the hard drive. And welcome all of our thousands and thousands of listeners into the Geek Spot News podcast. I'm Frank. That's Jack. We got all kinds of shit for you tonight. Stuff for you tonight.
Thanks for finding the Geek Spot, everybody. Already hey to Dom, Charles.
And there's so many more that we can't even say hi to. There's just so
There
many.
is. There's a lot. They just haven't commented yet. I can see them all there in the little number.
Hi, Jack. And hi, Jack.
Can't say that on a plane.
No. I can't even talk to you on a plane, can I?
Horrible
If you're
dad
walking
joke.
down the aisle of a plane and I see you, I can't go, hi, Jack.
I've told my son that joke every morning for the last 10 years. He hates his life every time that he sees me in the morning.
Oh, no. So how are you doing, man? It's been, God, weeks.
You've been busy. You've been so busy.
I actually have been kind of busy.
I did some stuff. I watched a bunch of things. I went and saw Fall Out Boy. I went and saw Guns N' Roses.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been doing all that. One band was better than the all right. One singer was better than the other. And one band was better than both bands were fine.
Yeah.
One band was great from a musical standpoint. The other one was good. But yeah, and singers Patrick Stump works hard all night.
Who?
The lead singer of Fall Out Boy.
I didn't know that.
He is definitely the most talented guy in that band by like a million miles.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's one of the going and doing just a solo piano thing for a while on stage where he's cutting in and out of random tunes.
I knew guys like that in bands.
And playing guitar and singing all of the vocals all night. There's like a handful of backup vocals. The other guys didn't even break a sweat.
Damn.
Yeah, well, because they don't really move. But they were good. The opening bands were great. There was Royal the Serpent, which I didn't Royal and the Serpent, which I didn't expect to be great, but she was awesome, and so was her band. And then Bring Me the Horizon, which is like I don't think they know what they want to be. They want to be like 70s British punk attitude, but they're like hardcore screamy band, but then they're also like pop punk, but they really don't know. But apparently they're really popular because there was people that were there to see them and not Fall Out Boy.
No shit.
And then Guns N' Roses Slash and Duff look and sound as great as ever.
Yeah? How's
And,
Axel?
He's there too.
Yeah?
He is. He there was minutes where you went, oh my god, it's Axel, and then there was a lot when you went, oh my god, that's Axel. Mm.
Can you repeat to me what you texted me for the few local people that may know the Philly area cover band scene?
Oh, I don't remember what I texted.
Oh, I remember exactly. I don't even have to look at my phone. You said it was as if LeCompte had just come off a 7-day week of shows, sometimes amazing, sometimes what the F is this?
Yeah. That is what I sent you. Yeah, look, that's how it is, right? Like there was notes where I'm like, oh, he doesn't have that. Okay. And then there was other times where it was like, that sounds amazing.
We oddly enough had those moments in the sound crew for the Rockets, the band that you and I met in, that there were moments that there were singers in the band that you were like, wow, he is nailing, I'm sorry, he or she, I don't want to say if it was that guy because we had girl singers for a while. They are nailing these parts. Great. And then there were songs where it's like, oh, please. Dave would like, nope, never putting that in a set again.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah,
what's awesome? They were at Hershey, right? Hershey Arena?
They were at Hershey. The Pretenders opened.
Oh, how are they?
I wish I knew.
No.
But there was also like a 2-hour traffic delay on the turnpike to get there. So did not catch the Defenders or Pretenders.
No. I'll have to.
Um,
Jimmy, Mr. Maziak, and Mark were there.
yeah, I know a bunch of people that ended up being there. We missed we caught their last song. They sounded great. They
Okay.
actually did Brass in Pocket, which they haven't done in years.
Oh shit! I actually know that song.
Because she hates that song.
Ah.
She
Okay.
didn't want that to be their big first single, and it was, and so
Right.
that's how they went. But yeah, other than that, busy doing all the other stuff and watching all the things and finishing Twisted Metal and starting Adventures with Superman.
Watching all the things. Yeah.
Finally saw Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, it's out. It's on video on demand, so I
I know. I
picked
know.
it up the day that it came out, and then it
I
took
see
me
it out there.
3 days to watch it.
I see it out there.
Yeah, 3 days to watch it. So you just got to spread it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it because of the jumpiness, or is it just because you needed 3 days to watch it?
it's because I don't have 3 hours of time
It's
free
fair.
all at once that I can
Fair.
stay awake during to
That's fair.
make it through.
It's fair.
Um, I'm assuming it was better when you watched it all at once than it was
Well,
broken up because
from
it
what I
was fine broken
from
up.
what I understand, there's a lot of differences in dialogue and scenes and stuff between the video on demand and the movie theater version.
I saw them mention a few.
Yeah. Well, not a lot. A lot's an exaggeration, but
How about you? What have you been up to?
nothing. I've literally done nothing for the last 2 weeks. I have done nothing but play Baldur's Gate 3 on my computer, which is something I don't normally do. And I realized that sitting in front of computer screens, even though I do it for work all day, I don't get as tired as when I'm sitting in my bedroom with the lights off, playing the video game. 2 hours into the game, I'm like this. Oh my god, I'm so tired because
Yeah.
the rays. Um, not watching anything. I paused watching my Aquaman documentary.
Mm,
It's a new show called Entourage.
nope.
No, never heard of it. Oh,
Nope.
yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to watch Entourage anymore.
Well,
The fact that it's
no,
still on TV is kind of
it's
amazing.
on HBO,
I know it's not
and
TV; it's HBO. That's true.
and I wasn't I kind of had it on as more like background stuff while I was doing other stuff, and then I looked up at one point and Danny Masterson was in the episode, and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
and a lot of the jokes don't land, and a lot of the dialogue doesn't land for today's society. I don't even think it was somewhat good for that era.
It wasn't. It was provocative at the
Yeah,
time, and now
yeah,
it's cancel worthy.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Still funny though. I still laughed my ass off at some of the stuff. So, um,
I'm sure you were inspired by watching the rest of Superman and Lois.
that was
To
good. I mean, I did finish that, and I
Did we
do.
discuss that you finished that, or was that
I
so
think
long
we did.
ago?
No, we did.
Okay.
No, we didn't. Did we? We could touch on it later, just briefly. Um, and no, I didn't do a lot. I have been low key not doing a lot of stuff. This week I plan to kick back into some stuff because I got a real hectic month of video games coming up here, man.
Oh well, let's
I have
tell us about Baldur's Gate. What's your review? I mean, it was a pretty anticipated game. It's been getting awesome reviews.
look. I'm 6 hours in, basically after all this time. Like I'm about 6 hours into the storyline. There's 175 hours of just video dialogue. There's more written dialogue for this game than in the Lord of the Rings books.
It
Books.
seems like a lot.
It's This game is a minimum 75 to 100 hours if you don't go and explore. And it's a Dungeons and Dragons based game, so you really want to go and explore every nook and cranny of the world. I haven't gotten out of Act 1 yet. I've been doing a lot of running around exploring. You can't re-roll your character stats is probably the biggest drawback to that game. So it's a
Oh,
Dungeons and Dragons based game, as I said, and there's you have your Dungeons and Dragons statistics, your strength, intelligence, etc. And for the characters that use strength as their primary, if you get an 18, you get to roll an exceptional strength score. They can't none of that. They don't let you re-roll. Like you pick your class, you pick your race, and you get like random stats, but that's what it is. You
got
can
it.
raise or lower them at the beginning a little bit, and then obviously with equipment gotten during the game. So you're running around with three other characters that you pick up companions along the way, and if you decide to play with someone, I started playing with a friend last night to see what the co-op was like. You are in a party; it's still four people, but you control you and one other person, and then your friend
Mm,
controls them and one other person.
that's cool, and it's Forgotten Realms based, right?
It is. It's Forgotten Realms based. It's by Larian Studios, and it has at this point pushed Legend of Zelda out of Game of the Year, which is amazing.
Wow.
Legend of Zelda was like Game of the Year when it was released. Like that was the whole thing. That it is it. Forgotten Realms, the Cleric Quintet. Um, I read that. That was a good series.
It was a great series.
Yes. So when Legend of Zelda came out, that was going to be Game of the Year, and then Diablo 4, as it was coming up to release, was looking like it could be Game of the Year, and then that just went completely sideways and shit.
I don't think it's going to matter when Spider-Man 2 comes out. It's going to be a wrap. So
Nah, there's no way there be. You know why? You know what? One of the biggest reasons this game is going to hit Game of the Year. No microtransactions, no in-game things to buy to like boost yourself up, and like that's a huge thing for people. That's why it's so
Spider-Man didn't have any of that either.
probably not no, but it's
Just,
Spider-Man, and
just
that's
had the DLC missions
and what was the other thing about
that I'm
this?
sure
Oh,
once you get through the 7,000 hours of gameplay, you'll be able to get to the their extra missions that they'll load in a few years.
they're not sure if they're doing DLC for this because it's so big. They said it's a massive undertaking. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but they don't need it right now.
Got it.
Because you could play through the game as this character, then you want to go back and you play through it as a completely different character with a different race and a different this, and it's I'm using for anyone that cares, I'm using a Drow Ranger.
Oh, is it Dro? I always thought it was Drow.
It is Drow, but I
Okay.
still call it Drow. I'm using a female Drow Ranger. Spider-Man will not beat Baldur's Gate Game of the Year.
Oh, 100%. It looks ridiculous.
I will bet you a quarter it doesn't.
Well, we'll see. Baldur's is coming out on PlayStation in like a couple weeks, so
September. But so I have that. I have the new season for Destiny 2 comes out on the 22nd, and then Starfield comes out right after that. So I'm pretty locked in for that.
And then Spider-Man 2.
And then Spider-Man 2.
Which you won't play, but that's fine. I will.
Interspersed in all of that is where I have to fit in TV shows, and I think at the top of my list right now is going to be Twisted Metal. I want to run through that, and then
it's a breeze. It's 8 hours, not even. It's 4 hours of time.
And I've heard that Superman, the Superman show is really, really, really good.
Yeah, look, Adventures with Superman is everything that Superman has been missing.
Ouch, Dom, that hurts. That cuts deep.
That's fair, Dom.
That's accurate. The video Dom put in the chat, I'll bet you a video. If you lose, you got to finally make a video for your channel. I can tell you that this week I will do the Marvel TV show rankings. I'm not doing them live here. I will make a video for the channel.
Yeah. So since you mentioned it, So I'll hold off on Twisted Metal till next week, but we did start talking about it on our show 2 weeks ago, and that made me go watch it, and I finished it in like 2 days. But it's great, super fun. But yeah, I'll try and remember it by the time you get to it. And
maybe next week we might. So we might not we might not make a show next week. At least on Monday for sure, because my boss is coming out from Texas and wants to take us out to dinner. It's the first time, being with the whole IT department he's building. So that might be Monday. I'm going to try and push him to Tuesday for it.
Got it. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yes.
But we'll talk Twisted Metal then.
Yes.
And maybe Blue Beetle. We'll see how the weekend goes.
Not for me. I
know.
You can see it. I still have to go see another 4 movies that are out that I haven't had a chance.
They're not out anymore. They're all gone.
Yeah, they're all gone.
And then Adventures with Superman is everything that's been missing from Superman in media for the last 15 years.
It's that good.
It's fantastic. It's a fresh out of college Superman and Clark Kent and his roommate Jimmy Olsen. Go and start interning at the Daily Planet along with other intern Lois Lane, who's been there a little bit longer,
Right.
and it's just great.
Good.
It's super fun. Um, it's uplifting. It gives you the Superman that's just like a good guy just because he wants to be a good guy
Mhm.
and because he knows he should be a good guy. And it's not getting caught in the weeds of like, oh my God, he's so powerful and over the top and it can be bad. And why isn't he a bad? Like, it's just fun
Is
and
is
like uplifting and a positive message, which is what we've been missing from DC for like way too long.
is Zod an intern?
No,
Is
no,
an older Lex Luthor that hangs out at the high school around?
nope. We have not gotten any of those villains. We've gotten a little bit of Intergang.
Okay.
We had Mr. Mixipitalik on the most recent episode,
Okay.
and that's really been it. We haven't even delved into like Krypton stuff.
Good. That's good.
Um, but yeah, there is Deathstroke's been on there. Deathstroke's like reimagined, also as like a younger version.
Okay.
The sleek kind of what they do with a lot of anime stuff.
Yeah.
But it's Jack Quaid is the voice of Superman.
Oh, okay. Boimer
Huh?
from Lower Decks.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I thought you were gonna go from the boys.
Boys. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Uh,
I'm in a Star Trek headspace a little bit.
got it. So yeah, it's I highly recommend it. It's on Max. There's only 9 episodes this season, I think, and are already on episode 7. It's a weekly drop.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
I have,
Charles finally saw Oppenheimer, which I
oh,
think is on your list. Did you go 70 millimeter, Charles? Because I heard that's the only way to watch it, and it's
it's
like a 3-week wait.
3 stories tall.
And then
Control it.
Dom's saying Blue Beetle's getting great reviews.
Hey man, I hope Blue Beetle's really good. I really, really do. And I can't wait to see it on Plex.
I will give a quick view of why I'm worried about Blue Beetle before we get into all the news and all
Yeah,
those
go
good
ahead.
things. Um, I don't need the superhero family and all the friends and the family members to join in on the adventures. Like I just don't in my
Fair
superhero
enough.
stories. I just want the superhero to go do superhero things. That's all I need. I don't need a family drama or a family comedy for any of my superhero stuff. Just have the superhero go do superhero things. And that is all I need in a superhero story. And we have not gotten that from a superhero story
It's fair enough.
from DC
No.
since maybe Aquaman. Maybe
And you say? I'm watching a documentary about that.
no. You're watching the Kevin Smith one with Vinny Chase. It's not good.
He's not in that.
Didn't he write it?
No, I don't think.
But yeah, it's that's my concerns with Blue Beetle. Like I just want Blue Beetle to go be Blue Beetle. I don't need George Lopez as the comedy relief crazy uncle.
Right.
So I'm concerned, but I am gonna go and try and see it and take the kids or something sometime this weekend or
That
hopefully
sounds
before our next
fun.
show.
Sad news.
Oh no.
Yeah. Johnny Hardwick, who is known, if you ever watch King of the Hill,
Yes.
he voiced Dale. He passed away at 65. So there's the
So
sad.
they're gonna have to cast McConaughey if they do it then, huh?
I was never a big King of the Hill fan. I never got into it.
I watched it a lot, but I can't say that like I remember anything about it. I just
Yeah.
remember
I
Damon
mean,
Bobby. That's
he
all I got.
voiced, he voiced him in 258 episodes. I mean, that's an insane amount. I know this show ran for a really long time. That was Mike Judge, right? The Beavis and Butthead
Yes.
creator? Okay. In sadder news, Disney. That was a great segue.
It is.
Disney
Nothing like depressing on a Monday night.
Disney Plus and Hulu are raising their prices again less than a year after their previous increase. So Disney Plus alone will now cost you $13.99 a month. Hulu will cost $17.99 a month. This takes effect on October 12th, but will not impact ad-free plans. Now, Hulu's live TV package, which I have,
Wait, not. I thought it didn't impact ad included.
it says, but will not impact ad-free plans.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah. Now the live package, which I have, will also see an increase with the ad-supported plan now priced at $76.99 a month, and the ad-free plan with video on demand priced at $89.99 a month, which prompted my Facebook post the other day about
Mm.
it's almost insane to have everybody everybody that cut the cord because it was cheaper, and now it's the prices are coming back up so much that it's almost makes as much sense to stick with cable now.
Well, that's because they've realized that the streaming model is not sustainable at all, especially
No.
now that once the big players got into it
Yeah.
and realized how much money they're spending on content
Uh-huh.
and to generate all this content, and then that they don't get any money for it anymore because they're all coming from that
Yeah.
previous mindset of we run ads all the time. Thanks, Knickerbomber.
Thank you, Knicker Bomber. Hulu does suck, I agree. Um, RIP to the Yankee season.
So yeah, my so with the Disney and the Hulu, I've seen that most of them are not going to raise. I thought it was their ad supported plans. I saw you said ad free on this one,
Yeah.
but because they're realizing there's people are going to get the cheaper plan with the ad supported,
Yeah.
and it's way more money for them selling ads than it is subscriptions.
Yep.
Because the number of subscriptions they have to sell to equal what they get from one ad is astronomical.
I watched a YouTube video, it was a couple weeks ago. It was a 10-minute video. It stopped 6 times for ads in a 10-minute video.
Oh,
Like,
pay for YouTube Red
I don't even I may have to.
or whatever it's called, YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
I have it included with my YouTube Music that I've had
Okay.
since it was a beta,
Yeah, I don't
8 years ago, 10 years
I
ago.
I do the Spotify, and I have carefully cultivated my um uh what's the thing that uh what's the
Yeah,
word what's the
your
word for the thing that
your playlist.
not my playlist, but the way the music comes at my algorithm. Sorry.
Oh, got it.
I've carefully cultivated the algorithm that I have for the music that comes up. And that's why the kid at work, and I say kid because he's 24, he wanted to, he's like, hey, how about I connect to your Spotify and play music? And I went, absolutely not. You're going to screw my algorithms all up with your weird music. I don't want none of that weird stuff that you listen
My algorithm for YouTube is completely screwed. So
to. Yeah, I can imagine.
because I learned so many songs
Right.
that
Yeah.
it thinks that
Oh,
it thinks I really dig Luke Combs and Chris Stapleton, and
yeah.
I do not. Well,
No,
Chris Stapleton's awesome, but
you and I both.
um, I do not enjoy that as a genre, and it thinks that I want to listen to outlaw country a lot, and
That's
it's not my thing.
awful, unfortunately. Um, Over in the strike world, in the SAG-AFTRA strike, we're past 100 days now for the writers. Um, and according to one former Law and Order SVU showrunner Warren Leet, he said that too many network dramas would have begun shooting their 4th episode of the fall season at this point, and that if the strike were to somehow end by Labor Day and shooting were to begin in early fall, networks might be able to salvage a 13-episode season. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I said it before. I was wrong. I thought that the strike would last a weekend and everybody would cave and they would go back. And they're no closer now than they were before.
They haven't even gone to the table again with SAG. They did go back with
No,
WGA.
no.
And if you saw our picture on social media today
That was
talking about the
next.
strike,
That was next.
it happened right after our last show.
You know, I loved Arrow and I really did like Stephen Amell, but sometimes he does put his foot in his mouth.
I mean, Stephen Amell has done nothing but bad things since he got on the Heel show, so I really think he just needs to quit that show.
Yeah,
He gave it was an extendedly long interview that they pulled some quotes that they wanted to use to make headlines and had
yeah,
him saying that he was not anti-union. He fully supported the union. He was not a supporter of strikes, though,
right,
because he doesn't think it benefits either side
right.
in that way. Which, look, he's gonna he's now on the strike line. Let's get to
There were,
that. So
there were,
he's
there
now
were,
on the picket line.
yep.
Um,
There's
but
pictures.
I don't necessarily disagree with his logic in that statement, where I don't think it's making anybody cave because they have plenty of content.
Yep.
It's going to be it's cheaper to lease content than to generate new content, which they're all learning. And it's cheaper to get somebody to walk in and dub it because voice acting's not and overdubs. I don't think covered under SAG. So
Yes, I think it. Oh, not overdubs.
Only if they're in the
The
States.
ADS, the ADS stuff does.
Yeah, but only if they're in the States.
Right.
So they
Right.
get it done by somebody else to do it, and they release it in the States. They're good to go. We can have Benedict Cumberbatch on every single overdub for every single person.
Well, Game of Thrones is chugging along over there.
Yeah, so I mean, that'll be out a year and a half before Last of Us now.
Yeah.
2 years before Last of Us, before whatever the other show that should be same time frame. I forget what the other big show was when Game of Thrones was on, or House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, and Stephen Amell got in a lot of trouble. I mean, he's done a lot of bad things the last few years between getting thrown off a plane for berating his wife in public,
yeah.
and also complaining about his neighbors being too loud with their animal rescue.
Heel's gonna heal.
Yeah, it's not going well for him, and nobody has stars anyway. So
No. The Emmys, the 2023 Emmy Awards, they've been postponed to 2024. Right now, it's set to air on January 15th. The Creative Arts Emmys, which I didn't even know was a thing, have also been rescheduled to early January. That'll be on January 6th and 7th, 2024. As of now, that also is subject to change as we go further and deeper into this strike. One of the shows that I'm a huge fan of just wrapped up its 10 episode season. So Star Trek Strange New Worlds, as I've spoken about before, they've done 2 seasons so far, and they filmed season 2 pretty much immediately after they did season 1. And they had it all done and ready, and then, they released it. And it just ended on a huge monster major cliffhanger.
yeah,
Like major cliffhanger. And now they're going to probably be at least a year and a half before they even get that back out for a season 3. The one producer for the show wants to actually switch it up and make 20 shows a year instead of 10 because 10 episodes they feel is too short, which I agree.
it's a lot for streaming though.
It's a lot for streaming, and they've slowly been introducing the cast of the original series a little bit here and there. We got Paul Wesley playing James T. Kirk. We got I forget her name. She's wonderful as Uhura. And then in this last episode, Lieutenant Montgomery Scott showed up.
Oh, all
A
right.
very young Lieutenant Montgomery Scott showed up, which was a complete shock. It wasn't anything I expected, but I don't go looking for spoilers. So it was a really awesome episode. The Gorn is their major enemy, and it's not like the Gorn that you saw William
So
Shatner.
we're going show mentality and canon, not J.J. Abrams movies.
Correct. This is not J.J. Abrams mentality.
Because Scotty was a baby.
Yeah, no. Scotty was Simon Pegg.
Right, I know.
Abrams. Huh?
Was he?
Yeah, he was Simon Pegg.
Oh, that's right. Who's the one I was thinking of? Oh, Chekhov. That's who I was thinking of.
Chekhov was
Who passed away, unfortunately.
Andrew Yelchin.
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie's never going to get made. That Star Trek movie that was supposed to come out, that's never going to get made. I mean, it's already 7 years in development, and now with this whole strike thing going on, that's something that's never getting developed. Good news on the reboot front. James Burrows, the creator of Cheers, which is a deep cut for people, firmly rejects the idea of a reboot, stating that the show had a perfect ending and should be enjoyed in syndication. Ted Danson has zero desire to reprise that role and go back and see Cheers rebooted.
I mean, he's also 80.
He is. He looks great though.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks great for 80.
I don't know if he's actually 80, but I feel like he's close to 80.
I gotta say he's old. But he looks great for his age, and it's good to hear that they don't want anything to do with a reboot in any way, shape, or form. I think that show bookended perfectly. And as I'm speaking about Cheers, despite uncertainty about its future, director Declan Lowney of Ted Lasso suggests that they may return sooner than expected.
Because they're British, so they can film now.
Possibly doing a season 4 with, as we had said before, a spinoff of the ladies.
Yeah, all right. Oh, the new league.
The new league, the Richmond Women's League. That would
Hey, and thanks for the raid going on from Dom.
yes, thank you,
From
Dom. We
James.
appreciate
Appreciate
and
it.
love you. Um, did
Uh,
you
yeah, I
go
look
ahead.
that show will be fine. I think if they do the casting right and they
Yep,
only bring Rebecca and I already forgot her name. Um,
Keely.
yep, and Keely over.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You
I
could
think you're missing a lot of the,
you
you
could
know,
bring Leslie back, and you could possibly have the coach's cameo and maybe a player here and there just to kind of, but I don't want to see anything long term
no,
other from the cast. As much as I love that cast, it ended fine.
exactly. So I don't know. I mean, look, if they do that spinoff, I think Rebecca and Keely would be fine running the women's
Yeah.
league as long as they give Keely some actual like storyline that's not
Yes.
dependent on her relationship to somebody.
Yes.
Would be great
And
because they did, and then they took it away and made her date the boss,
then fix the CGI a little bit,
or don't do CGI.
or don't do.
It's a soccer show. They don't need to do CGI.
Um, do you know who had a chance to play Dominic Toretto and turned it down?
Um, Joe Pesci.
No,
Oh,
actually, he was fourth on the list, I believe.
I don't.
Timothy
Who?
Oliphant.
Oh, I saw him for something else, not Dom.
He was offered the chance to play Dominic Toretto in Fast and the Furious, and he believes that the franchise wouldn't be as successful as it is today with him in the lead. And I actually kind of agree with him on it. As much as I love him,
Well, yeah, he wouldn't have taken over the franchise.
no, and he would just be walking around in a cowboy hat driving a car.
Well, and I don't know if that he and Paul Walker would have had the same kind of,
No, not at all.
and you'd have to recast everything
Yep, yep.
because
I can't see him in the
I don't buy what's her name, this the sister. I wouldn't buy
to
her
Urbana
and
Brewster.
yeah, I wouldn't buy her and Timothy Oliphant, especially since
No,
she's Brazilian and he's
and
not.
you wouldn't buy him and Letty as a couple. Maybe,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Look, I still my favorite thing, and I haven't watched Justified. I will say that my
I'm
favorite thing that he's ever done is still Santa Clarita Diet. He's so funny.
I haven't seen that. My favorite thing still is Justified personally, followed up by Deadwood. He was so good in Deadwood. And to find out that most of that was a true story, like just expanded for Hollywood, was even
Yeah.
cooler. Um, I have this small, quick little list.
Oh,
This is 10 serious actors who nailed comedy roles.
okay.
Something different before we move into other stuff. Number 10, Timothy Dalton in Hot Fuzz.
Timothy Dalton and everything's great. He's done comedy more than a few times.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a 2007 movie, Hot Fuzz, it's called. Never
Yeah,
even heard of it.
you've never heard of it? Hot Fuzz is amazing. It's Simon Pegg. It's Simon Pegg's second movie
That makes sense.
with the same director from Shaun of the Dead.
Maybe I have
Who
heard
did Baby Driver and was supposed to do the original Ant-Man, whose name is
it. Okay.
escaping me, which pisses me off right now. Uh,
Edgar,
Edgar,
Wright?
yes, Edgar Wright.
There you go.
Yeah,
No
Hot Fuzz
Googling.
is hilarious. It's
Okay.
so good.
Number 9, Meryl Streep in Mamma Mia and The Devil Wears Prada.
She's fine amount of Mamma Mia. I wouldn't say that's a comedic role at all
Yeah.
because
Well,
it's not.
also, as a side note, as I'm scrolling through Hulu sometimes, what pops up under comedy is Cocktail. And I don't understand how that pops up under comedy because in no way, shape, and form
Yeah.
is Cocktail a comedy
No,
at all.
no, it's a
It's a
serious study in
dark,
alcoholism.
it's a darker movie too. Number
Yeah,
8, Morgan Freeman in Bruce Almighty. Absolutely awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, like that. Number 7, Kate Winslet in The Holiday.
Didn't see it. I didn't know that. I don't know if I'm thinking of a different movie. The only holiday I think of is wasn't that the movie with Claire Danes when she was kidnapped in
Nope,
Taiwan or something? That is not the holiday.
that is not
Apparently,
The Holiday here, no.
two women troubled with guy problems swap homes in each other's countries where they each meet a local guy and fall in love. It was her and Cameron Diaz with Jude Law and Jack Black.
Okay, that sounds so familiar.
You've probably seen it
I
when
probably
you
have
were
seen it.
watching all of our shows that you watch
Yes.
so quickly.
Number 6, Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets.
Yeah, but I don't think that was his first foray into comedy. I think
No,
by that point, everybody knew he was already funny.
no, and he did the
Batman
movie with Adam Sandler.
Nicholson
Yeah, didn't he?
before Good as It Get. No,
No, no,
He-
no, no, not for As Good as It Gets, but he did the comedy with where he was the psychiatrist with Adam Sandler. Wasn't that Adam Sandler?
no,
No.
I don't think
Who the
so.
hell was that with? He played a psychiatrist,
Yeah, I know.
and it wasn't Adam Sandler,
I
was
don't
it?
think it was Adam Sandler. Anger Management.
Yeah. Who's
I don't,
that with?
that was not Adam Sandler.
Who the hell was that with?
Uh,
Here
that
I
was
am.
Adam Sandler.
Thank
Yeah, you're right.
you. Thank you. Number 5, Ralph Fiennes and Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yes, that movie's fantastic. By the way, he did Mars Attacks before he did As Good as It Gets.
Okay. Oh, wasn't he like the president or
Yes. Oh my
general?
god, he's so good in that movie.
I remember that. Um,
And The Witches of Eastwick, and yeah, he
yeah,
had done plenty of comedic stuff before that.
it's a weird list.
Who'd you just say? Oh yeah, Rafe Fiennes
Ralph, Ralph
in
Fiennes.
it's Rafe.
It's Ralph.
It's Rafe.
It literally says Ralph.
Yeah, he pronounces it Rafe
Well, I don't.
because he's British.
Well, I don't.
Grand Budapest Hotel, if you never saw it, is amazing.
Never. A shocker, but no.
Yeah, it's so good. It's a Paul. I'm
Wes
not
Craven?
gonna remember any names today.
Wes Craven or Wes Anderson.
Yes, Wes Paul Anderson. Yes, it's one of his. It's great.
Number 4, movie we've all seen, Alan Rickman in Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yep.
Couldn't have been better cast.
Robert De Niro in Analyze This, Meet the Parents. Analyze This / Meet the Parents.
Yeah, isn't Analyze This the movie he was in with Adam Sandler that was Anger Management?
Yes.
No?
No.
I think that's where I was getting screwed up because I
You
was
were.
thinking of Analyze
We're
This.
thinking Billy Crystal.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think that was the beginning of the end for Robert De Niro when he started going down the comedy route.
Then he went to Bad Grandpa at some point. And
Yeah, I mean, Analyze This led to Bad Grandpa 23 years later.
Yeah.
And a slew of bad movies in between. I mean, he's great in Meet the Parents and all.
Yeah. Christian Bale in The Big Short.
I don't know that I would call that a comedy. But yeah, no, I would disagree with that one. What's that? That's like number 2 on the list.
That's number 2. Number 1 is
Wow.
Denzel Washington in Two Guns / Much Ado About Nothing. I liked him in Two Guns.
I mean, Denzel's always been funny
Yeah.
when he needs to play that comedic moment.
He's funny in that movie with Ryan Reynolds where he's the bodyguard.
In The Bodyguard,
Right?
the Samuel L. Jackson.
I know. I know. I know it was Samuel L. Jackson.
No, okay.
The
The Hitman's Bodyguard. That's what that movie was.
Hitman's Bodyguard. Yeah, I
And
mean
then
that was
the
a
Hitman's Bodyguard's wife.
It was a really weirdly goofy list.
It was that seems like it's probably by somebody that doesn't remember when any of those movies came out,
Basically, yeah.
or hadn't seen those actors' full portfolios.
Over on the DC side, in the DC thing, we had been touching on that earlier. Gal Gadot made some comments about a week and a half ago that Wonder Woman 3 was a go for James Gunn's new universe.
Yeah, how's that working out for her? Can't wait.
So it turns out that there is not a Gal Gadot Wonder Woman 3 movie coming in James Gunn's new universe.
Well, at least not in phase 1. Right?
And hopefully not in phase anything. Like, she was great in the first Wonder Woman, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to kick out Henry for being too old and Ben and just redo it all, start over. Like, just go new.
Yeah, look, so Gal's 38.
Yeah.
She has that big old Netflix contract where she's doing all these. She just had a movie come out this week
Yeah. Apparently it's really
on
good.
Netflix. I'm sure you watched it.
Nope. Nope. I told you I didn't watch anything this time. It wasn't even. It was nothing.
It's on my list. It's another one where I need to have 2 straight hours to
Mm.
sit down because, like I said, I'm sure Across the Spider-Verse is great in one sitting. It's not great in 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know where James Gunn is going with this. I don't know how much longer until we push all of the timeline back on it,
Right.
and then it's gonna be. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna care because it's gonna be in like 3 years out, and there's gonna be no DC for 3 straight years,
That's what it's looking like now. I mean,
except for Creature Commandos, like which I don't know which version they're gonna do. I've read a few versions of the Creature Commandos comics. They just relaunched it recently, which is why they're doing that to drum up the comic book sales for the new Creature Commanders, which has nothing to do with the movies. But it doesn't look that great. Um, it's the original story was cool because it was a story of its time because it was written in like the 50s or the 60s, the original one, and it was about the Wolfman and Frankenstein's monster and Dracula
mm-hmm.
all working for the Allies to go take out Nazis, which was cool, right? And
Yep.
then like one guy that led the squad, and a couple undercover people here and there, like the Invisible Man and stuff like that. And then we get the new one that's super weird and getting more and more nutty, and I don't know how much I trust James Gunn to not go too wacky with it.
I I hope he doesn't push so hard to be so different from Zack Snyder that it gets like out of too far outside the box. I get that you have to be and you want to be different from Zack Snyder and you want to lighten the tone of what Zack Snyder did, but I still always see DC as the darker universe.
Uh,
Aside from Superman for what it's
Look,
supposed
it depends on the series and the time
to.
frame.
Yeah.
Batman wasn't dark until the mid '80s.
Okay.
Batman wasn't dark until Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, he definitely was lighter with Adam West.
No, I'm saying even in the comics, it wasn't dark until
Right.
the late '80s when they started digging in on the Tim Burton popularity and a little bit else
Right.
besides that. And it really started to get more and more dark, and the costume changed again. But you got to remember, '70s through the most of the '80s, we had the bright blue
Yep.
cowl and the horn, and the
Yep.
ears and the light gray costume. And he was a fairly light character. And then they started making him darker and darker as we got out of the '80s and into the '90s. And then really took a turn once they did the Nightfall with Bane.
Yep. Um over in the Marvel side, unless you have anything else for DC related materials.
No, we talked Adventures with Superman.
Yep.
There's nothing else really in that camp right now. James Gunn's been fairly quiet. No new casting news
No.
because they can't work on anything.
Right. Um Deadpool 3 might be getting the delay finally. Um Disney released its updated movie schedule for the next several months. Um, we have no, we have the. I'm not going to go through all their movies, but basically we have the Marvels coming in November this year, and then there's nothing else on here as far as Marvel goes, all the way up to this is June 14th, 2024 is the
But we
last
have
one
we
they
have two TV shows.
not on the movie list.
Got it.
It's just the movie list. Because we have Snow White March 22nd,
No.
King of the Planet of the Apes May 24th. This is 2024.
Wait. Oh, a new. Oh, okay. But
New-
that's in the new. That's
Yes.
in the Andy Serkis realm.
Yes. And then Inside Out 2, June 14th. There's a bunch of other stuff before that, but Deadpool was supposed to come out May 2024, and that's not even on their release schedule of movies for again, up to about June 14th next year.
Look, with any luck, Disney can use this and do the opposite of what they did with all the pandemic delays,
Uh,
and not fuck everything up
they
again.
can't work on anything right now.
That's fine. Kevin Feige can think about it and
Yes.
say, "Oh, we shouldn't have done that or that. Let's fix this and that."
Yes.
As opposed to what they did during the shutdowns of the pandemic and said, "Let's write everything 10 times worse than we had it before and going into this. Let's just rewrite it all so that it's crap when it comes out."
Mhm.
Because that's what they did. They even admitted we rewrote this movie 3 times. We rewrote Doctor Strange
Yep.
7 times. And
Um,
even the writer was like, "Oh, this isn't anything like the movie I wrote."
One of the byproducts of all this is that the Marvel VFX workers are voting to unionize. due
I
to
saw that
overwork.
under CW.
I'm not
Oh
sure.
no, they're going under IATSE.
Yeah, so they're going to vote to unionize due to overwork and unrealistic deadlines, highlighting the need for improved working conditions in the industry. I think it's great. I think it's great because they're overworked, underpaid, and some of the VFX, some of the CGI has been just downright awful in some of their shows.
Yeah, and I saw an article with James Gunn, or with the effects team for Guardians 3 as to why those effects were not crap. And it was because James Gunn understood how the work went and to
Right.
not overuse them as a lot of these productions have done, where like everything's going to be CGI, and like when we get to the animal world, right? All of them were practical effects. So with a little bit of CGI over them, as opposed to everything having to be complete CGI, which is where
Yep.
a lot of these Marvel productions are all just shot on a green screen or a blue screen. Like if you look, like they don't even interact with the person the whole movie.
We should hear this vote's going to happen August 21st of this year.
Okay.
And this article says that if they do unionize, this will affect Marvel Studios phases 5 and 6 projects. Many of them not even haven't started filming yet, and again are going to be delayed down the line. It's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. I actually hope that it goes through for them and for us, because we want to watch something that's well done and well made. And I, you know, I think it's a good thing for them to not be overworked and underpaid. I worked for the Rockets, so I understand how that is.
Didn't we both?
Yes, yes. And the final thing I have here is uh, this is casting the MCU's new Illuminati for the multiverse saga. Boy, my reading is really off. So how about this? How about
Mm-mm.
how about we have Thor in the Illuminati?
He's not in the Illuminati,
No, this is the new Illuminati. They're gonna cast.
right? But why wouldn't they cast the actual Illuminati,
Why? Well,
who
because
most of them are either problematic or not currently in the MCU?
so wouldn't putting Thor in there be a good way for them to kind of keep Chris Hemsworth around
So
or in the background?
let's talk about what the Illuminati is in Marvel. So the Illuminati is a group of the most brilliant minds
Mm-hmm.
in the universe
Mm-hmm. Not Thor.
that all get together and have been guiding all of the movements
Okay.
behind the scenes for years.
I'm not saying I'm for Thor. I'm just throwing
So
out devil's
the
advocate.
the comic version is Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Namor, Black Panther, and
Xavier?
Xavier. Those are the five that are in the Illuminati in the comics. There might be some other ones that have been in and out, but those are
Right.
the core. Did I say Doctor Strange?
No.
Then
No.
six. Then there's six. Those are the core six that have been in it.
Okay.
So
This this list has 10, so let me see where you land.
oh god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Thor
No.
is in here at 10. It's not like a top 10 list. This is just they threw
Yep.
10. Uh Bruce Banner, Smart Hulk.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Brandon Banner might be in the one in the comics. They've changed the lineup a few times.
Yep, Carol Danvers. Miss Captain Marvel.
I haven't seen her in a movie yet.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because like the first movie, you get pre
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, Carol
Yep.
Danvers, and we haven't really seen her since in anything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Namor, as you had said, that works.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see
Providing they
him
have
ever
an
again.
actor, providing they have an actor for it.
Yeah, we won't see that actor again.
Shuri,
That's fine.
because there's no Black Panther, so I guess that
I mean, that is Black Panther, right?
oh,
So,
she is Black Panther. Spoiler.
which is whatever.
This one I don't. James Rhodes.
No.
Okay.
I
Uh,
mean, he's
wait,
been in a coma for
wait, it
20
gets
years,
better.
apparently.
Wait, it gets better. Loki.
Well, he's dead.
No, he's not.
He is.
Series is coming out.
Because once he comes back to the right timeline,
Yes.
he dies a year later.
All right. Reed Richards obviously would be one.
Are they casting them, or are they just saying names that should be in the Illuminati?
This is who they're saying should be in it.
Got it.
Okay. Number 2, Wanda Maximoff.
No.
And the number one name obviously here is Dr. Stephen Strange.
I don't know that they know what the Illuminati is in this
No,
article.
they don't know what the Illuminati is because that's so far off the mark of what we know. I mean, yeah,
And none of those people even make sense.
no, some of them really don't. Um,
Look,
Lan-
eventually by the time by the time Armor Wars comes out, we might have 30 more Marvel movies before then.
yeah.
Now speaking of Marvel though, I
Yes.
don't did you have the TV list anywhere? Because I heard there's some interesting things going on with the TV list.
What do you mean? What am I looking for? I can get it.
So I heard Echo's not on the schedule anymore for this year.
Let's
On
see.
the latest one they
Marvel
released, Echo was missing
2023. Let's see. What
because
is
we got Loki coming out in just a few weeks. Right, we have Ahsoka and then Loki back to back. Right, so we have Ahsoka's on what the 31st, 23rd soon, and it's in like a week.
July 31st? Let's see what we got here.
So yeah, next couple TV things we have Ahsoka, we have Loki.
Well, this does have Echo season 1. This from thepopverse.com has Loki season has Echo season 1 at November 29th, 2023.
Yeah, where it all drops at once, but I thought I had read an article where Disney did not include it on their actual
I think I saw something about that too. And a lot of these I don't know how accurate this actually is. Loki in October, right? Was that right? Okay.
Yes, and it would end right up against
The Marvels in November.
yeah.
And then what if season 2 20 it just says 2020. So these just say 2023, so these all aren't happening in 2023. What if season 2 probably not. Ironheart season 1 definitely not.
Oh, speaking of Ironheart, I started see I looked that up the other day because I said I totally forgot we introduced a character called Ironheart in Disney in Black Panther that was supposed to have her own show and be like a whole thing and has a cast, and I don't know if it's filmed a minute or if any of the Disney Plus shows have filmed a minute or if they're done or where they're at. Like they've been very hush hush because they keep releasing complete garbage on
Yeah,
Disney Plus.
they really have. No, I can't find an updated one. I'll have to look to see if we can find an updated one for next week, because these lists I'm finding are all older, and I have one more little bitty thing to go over real fast. We have a big debut coming up.
So it was with the Disney quarterly results. Is
God.
where Echo was missing.
Okay.
It does not appear on the updated Disney calendar. So maybe they're going to postpone it so they have content
That makes sense.
since other things won't be done. They did just get done releasing Miss Marvel on regular ABC
Right.
to drum up interest before the Marvels movie comes out and give.
That makes sense.
But you have to wonder what the subscription base is then for Disney Plus if they're releasing that on ABC to get it more views, right? They could just try advertising the show because they haven't done that yet.
Not
They didn't do it while the show was out. They were too busy advertising Obi-Wan.
right. Speaking of Obi-Wan, oh, that's nice. That was very well done. We have a big show coming out August 23rd. The first 2 episodes of Ahsoka are going to drop. And I'm still low-key, after the last trailer, I'm a little more excited for it, because there's some Anakin stuff in there.
I
And
saw where they talk about Anakin a little bit.
a little bit. And the run times for the first 2 episodes have been released. Thankfully, they're longer than Mandalorian episodes. Episode 1 comes in at 54 minutes, 21 seconds. So you figure it's about 50 minutes.
Is that with or without credits?
That's why I said you figure about 50 minutes. Cut 4 minutes of credits off.
That's being nice, saying they only have 4 minutes of credits.
And episode 2's coming in at 42 minutes, 15 seconds.
Okay.
So,
look, as long as I don't care how long the episodes are, as long as they are complete episodes.
yes, that's
The
what
problem
I'm
with the Mandalorian is like they cut them so tight that you're like, they must have cut out 15 minutes of this episode where they actually had like story going on.
The good thing that we can say about Ahsoka is that Filoni has been in charge of the entire thing. He's written and directed everything. So this is all him. Now I saw, and I wanted to mention this too. I saw I'm a big TikTok fan, if you hadn't noticed. I saw a TikTok video with Dave Filoni. and he's more videos and more interviews are coming out with him as obviously leading up to Ahsoka. And he said when he was working with George, being George Lucas, the only thing, and this was way back before George sold to Disney, the only things George Lucas considered canon in his universe were the movies and the TV shows. Nothing else, according to George Lucas, was ever canon. None of the books, none of the extended universe, none of that was actually legitimate canon. He approved all of it, and it was fun to see where things went. That's why they shifted it to the Legends category, and it's not considered canon. I don't think a lot of people realize or know that. I didn't know that myself.
What, that it wasn't canon?
That it's not that before the sale to Disney, when George had final approval over all of these stories and all of these books that came out, the Heir to the Empire and all of that stuff wasn't actually canon to anything. According to Dave Filoni, only those at the time, I guess, the 6 movies and the TV shows, which were basically the Clone Wars and I think Rebels, maybe might have been before he sold to Disney.
Yeah, no,
that was it.
Clone Wars was only the first couple of seasons. He sold to Disney during Clone Wars.
Okay, but that's the only stuff that he ever considered canon. He didn't consider.
Yeah, but he was heavily involved in Clone Wars for the first few seasons.
Right. It actually kind of makes sense to the way they're approaching things and how they're pulling from that little by little, because this Ahsoka series is going to be different. It looks like Sabine's going to be some type of either Jedi or Force user, and I'm okay with that. As long as the story's good. I'm a Rebels fanboy, so.
Right. Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. Because I hope that it's not going to try and get too big for itself.
Yep.
Which I think that it could easily do. Like Obi-Wan didn't need to be this huge galaxy spanning adventure. It just needed to be like tighter. I think it struggled.
I didn't hate that as much as you did, but I do understand where you're coming from. I actually enjoyed Obi-Wan. I don't know if I'd rewatch it. I'd rewatch parts of it, I think.
And I think Ahsoka can be bigger, but I don't know if it needs to be as big as it looks like they're going to make it. Because I don't think the Inquisitors, and we'll see, maybe Filoni, because he's the one that did the Inquisitors in animation, so maybe he'll be able to do them right in live action.
Yeah.
See, even Pete's calling you out. Him jumping in, making a return appearance just in time for the Star Wars talk.
Pete, I love it. Thank you. I actually saw Pete this weekend. I forgot to mention that. I went over our mutual friend Dan and Gina's nice little board game afternoon, and I saw Pete there.
Very nice. So
I didn't know that, Pete, but that's good. I'm fine with it.
I had seen that a few times. By the way, maybe you can rewatch this before the next time we do. Did you know this year is the 40th anniversary of V?
Dude, I'll rewatch the shit out of V. Okay, don't even play with me about.
Just listen to an interview with the writer and director of the original miniseries.
I had
pretty fascinating stuff.
Biggest crush on the blonde chick. What was her name? Not Faye Dunaway. Faye something.
Faye Griffin, I believe.
No, you're wrong.
I might be.
You are. I know the lead was Mark Singer. I won't forget.
He was one of the leads. Faye Grant.
Huh?
Faye Grant.
Faye Grant was. Oh my God! Did I have a massive crush on?
You two are about the same age, so that makes sense.
Okay. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No, she's got you by a little bit.
Look at the cast of this now that I'm going down at Jane Badler.
Yeah.
Jennifer Cook. I remember her. Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Faye Grant. Michael Ironside, dude.
Yeah, he was great. Leonardo Cimino, if you remember, he's the Holocaust survivor. He's also in Monster Squad.
Yep. He's the older guy, right? He was older then. Jesus.
Yeah, Richard
Brett,
Hurd.
Brett Cullen was in it for
Yeah.
an episode. It's
Yeah,
nice.
once they moved over to TV, it was pretty fast. And I don't know if you watched the remake they tried to do.
I did.
Um,
Morena
which
Baccarin.
Yeah, but as soon as I saw that Morris Chestnut was cast, I was like, this is going to get canceled quick.
Who's Morris Chestnut?
So he was the lead. He was the new like Mark Singer character.
I'm looking now.
Oh, every movie I've ever seen,
yeah,
or every TV show I've ever seen Morris Chestnut, and I'm like, this is going to get canceled fairly quickly. He's like the Vivica Fox of these shows, where you see her and you're like, oh, it's going to be good, but it's going to get canceled.
Look at the list in this one in the remake.
Yeah,
not remake, but
and hold on, and Robert Englund as Charles points out.
yes. No, I thought I mentioned him. Laura Vandervoot. Lauren Vandervoot.
Yeah. Elizabeth Mitchell.
Elizabeth Mitchell was in it. Scott Wolf. Rourke Critchlow. Remember Rourke?
No.
What? You don't remember Rourke?
No.
Oh, wait. Now I'm going down this.
Are you in another rabbit hole?
Let me tell you a couple things he was in. Remember a nice little movie called Mr. Deeds?
Vaguely.
He was in that. How about the Battlestar Galactica, the remake?
Oh, he was in that. That's right.
He was in that. He was in
also an
Days of
Arrow.
Our Lives. He was Dr. Mike Horton in Days of Our Lives. I don't even have to IMDb that. I knew who that is.
Yeah, look, Joel Gretsch was in it. As you said, Scott Wolf. We had Charles Mazur, who's been in a ton of stuff since then.
Yeah.
We had Jane Badler was back in it. Yeah,
Lexi Doig was in it.
The remake was phenomenal.
Shanks. She was in Stargate for a little bit.
Yeah, I wish the remake had gone longer. I think it went one season, if I'm not wrong, right?
Alan Tudyk was in it.
It went two. It did go 2 seasons.
Yeah, Oded Fehr. I love him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The show, the remake was great.
Oh my god.
It's on Peacock. Anybody looking to watch it?
Yeah, dude. I might have to power through the whole thing. Well, there
Charles points out 35th anniversary of Killer Clowns from Outer Space as well.
There goes Peacock. Or there goes my twisted.
Did you? Metal. So fun fact with V about that. So it was. It saved NBC.
Really?
NBC was on like the last of the networks at the time, and they launched that. They did the guerrilla marketing campaign when it was just like Diana holding a little kid's hand and saying, "Hi, we're here to help."
Right.
And then they paid. A week later, they paid a bunch of neighborhood kids to go vandalize all the signs and write the V on them.
In the original one?
No, in their advertising campaign, their marketing campaign for it.
The original
one. They put the posters out, didn't advertise, didn't say anything, just said, "Hey, we're here to help." And then they had a bunch of kids go and spray paint V's on all the signs.
That's awesome.
And then a week later, they put a little thing on the signs that said the revolution starts on NBC.
That's awesome. Oh, that's another show I should watch, Revolution.
No, you don't need to watch Revolution. You'll just be disappointed because it doesn't.
We could do a Revolution rewatch podcast. It'll be one episode.
but it doesn't end. Is the problem with the Revolution? It was such a good show. Giancarlo Esposito was phenomenal on that show. And then we're out. And then like you're like, what? But what? How does it? Nope. We just okay. Can we do a book or something? Like anything? Finish it off. And yes, Dom, that is Pete and Aaron. Thanks for hopping over from the raid. So hey, everybody, thanks for finding the Geek Spot as always. Make sure you check out the audio version. Tell a friend that we're there too. You can find us on YouTube if you are listening to audio. If you just have to look into the live stream section, because if you look at the video clips, we're not great at recording those. No. But anywhere you go, give us a thumbs up, hit the like and subscribe, and we'll catch you all real soon.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.